morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Welcome into the CryptoLogic Podcast. Hopefully you guys are having an amazing day. I know the markets are down, but hopefully you still are having an amazing day. And if you're in Southern California, it's not so southern today. It's pretty rainy. I feel like it's like...
I'm wearing a rain jacket and everything.
Well, I took mine off, but I was wearing one too. It seems like I guess people in Washington are probably like, dude, we deal with rain like all the time. So I don't even know what you're complaining about.
No, it's Seattle.
Is it?
Well, it is Seattle, Washington. I'm tripping.
Same thing.
Seattle, Washington. I always forget Seattle's in Washington. I was thinking.
Yo, Dante, is it raining where you are?
No, it's not.
Dang, lucky dude. Is it cold though? Because you're wearing a sweater, so I assumed it was cold.
Yes, it's cold. It was weird. It's just it's like in that weird in between sometimes where it's warm enough where you don't need to wear cold weather clothes, but then the next day or when it gets to nighttime, it gets very cold.
Does it snow where you are? Does it snow often?
Yeah. Yes, for sure. I mean,
Wow.
think of outside of New York City or New York City weather.
I love
that's
the snow.
basically, that's
Dude, I've
where I
never
am,
been to
so.
New York City, but like I low-key want to go. I think it'll be a pretty cool
We're gonna visit
experience.
Dante Defi, do a live show in New York.
Damn, imagine that'd be
In
so
the middle
dope.
of Times Square.
Guys, the market's never coming back, so my last video will be I will be in New York City.
Let's liquidate all our positions
We will
and
say death to crypto.
liquidate our
20,
positions in
21
one last hurrah.
Yo,
closes.
this market, man, if we're looking at it right now, guys, we're down 2 trillion from, I think, yesterday's show. We're at 2.14 trillion. We're down a percentage on the day. Bitcoin continues to fall. Ethereum continues to fall. Binance seems like it might go under $500. Solana still at 150. Cardano, XRP still under $1. Polkadot's under $30. Dogecoin did flip Terra the other day. That we talked about that. Avalanche is basically at the point where I bought in at Avalanche almost. We don't need to talk about sheep because it's trash. Sorry, sheep holders. CRO has at 50 cents, which is still pretty good. But honestly, man, I think what's on everyone else's mind is time.
Yeah. Well, literally in the last 15 minutes.
Everything else is a stable coin.
So people are looking at time, like, because I made a TikTok about it, and I was like, my best performing asset is time. And a lot of people are coming to that video now and like, oh, look at time, it's tanking, it's trash, blah, 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 blah. I want to get you guys this take, man. What do you guys think? When you guys seen time at this current price? I think it even hit 2,700.
Dude, it was 2,700. I've never been more excited.
What do you guys think?
John?
I've never been more excited because I bought so high. I was initially buying in at it wasn't 8,000 yet. It was like 65, 7,000 when I first started buying in. And then obviously my rebates has been been lowering the average since it's been going down now, but I've been adding more as it goes down. I like the price like this because it makes you stack up faster if you consolidate or if you pull money from the real world. It's an opportunity. It's like a second chance.
Hell yeah.
It's like a second chance. You know what I mean? And I remember we even had this conversation on air when Dante was like, oh, I got time. And then we were like, man, we missed it. We missed it when it was 3,000. We missed it. Here's your chance. You know what I mean? So to me, it's exciting because this thing has been doing so well for the past, I think, give or take all of November, really. And then the better end of October, it's been soaring high above 6,500 and just continuing to go and teeter to 10,000 and then between 10 and 8,000 for weeks on end. And so many people were buying in at those prices. Why are you not buying in at these prices? It doesn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? Unless you don't believe in it. But you believed in it when it was high up, and that's the mentality that everyone has. And it's hard to think like that when you're riding the hype. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You're so bullish, so happy when everything's up. You want to buy in at that time, and then now when it's like these prices, you're scared. Not like you or us, or whatever. But I'm saying in general.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. When it should be the opposite, you should be bullish right now. That's how I feel. I'm like, because I was so enthusiastic when I was $8,000. Why would I not be enthusiastic at 3? It's a second chance, in my opinion. And I hope you. I mean,
What do you think, Dante?
Yeah, I think it's definitely hard to see that it's all the way back at 3K, but it's funny because I just looked at the date and I realized when I got into time, and when I got into time it was like the 1st of October, I want to say, or around then, So it's only been like 2 months,
Yeah.
2.5 months or so since I initially got in. And it's basically reset. It's basically gone back to the price at which I bought in at, but I'm still up significantly. Significantly. And the crazy
Because
thing
of
is I'm
rebases.
up significantly and I still feel terrible about where the price is at
Yeah.
right now. I still feel like, whoa. So I can only imagine to some of you out there who maybe bought in at, higher prices,
Yeah.
it might feel terrible right now.
Yeah.
But the point is exactly what you said, John. Like you're spot on with that. Is that when you don't believe in it yourself, or you don't have the trust in yourself to make the right decision, you will panic. And I literally said it in the video that I made today. I've made that mistake where I follow the lead of somebody else without my own convictions. And the video that I made today was about like high conviction crypto plays. So it's like when you don't have your own conviction, generally, at least from my own experience, it has not worked out. When I have my own conviction and I go with my own gut, things work out. It doesn't mean that every single play I make is going to pan out in the way I want it to, but it eventually leads me to something that works out, or it eventually leads me to a lesson that I needed to learn to keep progressing. And so to me, there's so many lessons you learn in crypto about that you can use in the real world, in real life, but also in the crypto market, and learn from the mistakes you make and make yourself, or at least put yourself in a better position. And so like, that's all coming from me. And I'm saying that knowing that, I didn't take profits at the top of the local top of this last run, when I could have, maybe should have. So.
I think that's a good point, man. Conviction in your own thought process, because think about it, right? We talk about Wonderland Time. We're bullish on it, of course, but imagine someone who bought in at 9,000 or 10,000 or whatever because they didn't know anything about crypto, but they enjoyed some certain YouTuber, whatever, and they bought in at that time, and now they see Wonderland at 3,200. Well, to them, they're freaking out like, oh, holy crap.
Yeah.
But I think if you made the decision to consciously do this on your own, irregardless of what anyone else said, you wouldn't really be tripping right now. You would be like, okay, well, it's a lesson learned at that point, But I want to show you guys something real quick that I found on Twitter. And this is from Root to Fi.
Love that guy.
He said, my thoughts on time at 3K. It's now 70% down from the all-time high. Can it go lower? Definitely. Should you basically worry? He's like, no, not in my opinion. It is a asymmetric bet. I think that's what that means.
Yeah.
Asymmetric bet. You're buying time for the staking rewards, not for the asset price.
Dude, that's what I told somebody.
Think about it for the long-term investment.
That's what I told someone yesterday. I'm like, the guy I was trying to get into time, he was saying like, oh, I'm waiting for. I'm like, dude, this is not a type of token that you don't treat it like a token, oh, waiting for the go. Like, no, it's you buy in and then you from there you increase your position by the rebase.
Yeah, the price
As
of
simple as I
time
can put it.
never actually matters if you're doing it right.
Yeah,
It literally shouldn't matter.
Yep.
As long as
the point is it could literally be $1,000 and still be paying every single one of us out 80,000% in APY. It just means what time did you get into time? You might have to wait a little bit before you start breaking even on your initial investment, but the time that it takes will keep closing the longer you hold, because of course compounding interest is consistently compounding.
And the price of time affects how much time of the token can you accumulate. So if you only put in $100 at $8,000, you're not going to get that much time. But if you're putting in $100 at a time at $1,000, you'll get a significantly higher amount of time. So the more, like I said, the more you stake, the more you make. So the more amount of time you have, the higher your rebase is going to be because of the amount of time you have staked. So that's the only way. That's the only reason why price of matters is how much capital you're willing to put in, right? So like if you have a lot of capital, if you have $10,000 in, it doesn't matter. You're guaranteed to have one full time. You're gonna get 2 time. But if time's at 9,000, you're gonna get 1 time.
Exactly.
So then obviously someone's gonna have that has 2 time is gonna earn more faster than someone that has 1 time.
Or half a time.
Or half a time even.
Yeah.
Or even a quarter of a time, right? So it just depends on, like Dante said, when you get in. If you get in when the price is lower, you're going to get more time. You're going to earn more rewards. You're going to be rewarded. You're going to be more happy because you're going to get rewarded well. And then so think about someone that probably bought in at let's say when time was at like $900, $800, and they have like 15 time right now.
Damn.
They're probably making like, I don't even want to do the math. I can put it up on the thing. They're probably
Let's do
making
the
like
math.
a minimum 7 time.
So they have. Hold on, let me refresh.
No, we gotta
make
do the
sure.
calculator because the calculator will show how much time that they're earning with that amount of time.
So currently, 15 time would be worth this amount, but
With the rebase.
if you rebase this amount, I don't know what it would be. It never works on my computer, but
I'll pull it up right here.
but yeah, that's
just
basically
they
like
can't see
50
it, though.
grand, man.
So if you had 15 time in 30 days, you will get 26 time. If time was at $1,000, that would be $26,000 you'd be earning a month.
That's crazy. How much is 29 time even worth?
It's 26.
Oh, 26?
Yeah.
Almost 100 grand, bro. You wouldn't be complaining.
So if
at
someone had 15
$3,000.
time, if a whale bought in at time when it first launched, believed in it, put in like 10 grand at $800, you know what I mean? The amount that you're rebasing is insane. Where it doesn't even matter if times at $1,500, $2,000, $500, own prices. It doesn't even matter. Own went down to
literally
like
doesn't
$479. It doesn't matter because it's still passive income.
But the thing is, that's a good point, John. But the thing is, with passive income, right, and DeFi, right, the whole premise on why people love it is because technically you're invisible, quote unquote, right? But now the government is starting to realize there's a lot of stuff going on with this DeFi, and a lot of people making a lot of money. This article came out. I know Dante doesn't like articles, but hey,
If it's relevant, he said if it's relevant.
article came out
Not
said
Elizabeth
DeFi is
Warren.
the
Not
most
Elizabeth
dangerous
Warren.
part of the crypto world. Now, this is the Senator Elizabeth Warren.
All right, I'm getting off.
Everybody run!
You know, Elizabeth Warren has been very vocal about crypto in general, and now she's targeting DeFi specifically.
DeFi is the most.
Is that what the
dangerous
article
part.
says that she's specific, or is it the stablecoin thing?
It's mostly so she's saying that you can't have DeFi without stable coins. But the problem is she's worried about people like using like Wonderland, not actually Wonderland time, but let's just use that for an example because that's what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
She's saying like someone making all these rebases on Wonderland time, right? Someone cashing out $80,000, whatever, liquidating their whole
And then
thing.
no one knows.
And then they want to get that money and put it into their bank account. Well, instead of them getting paid every time they do a transaction or they get a rebase, they only have to pay taxes on whatever they put on the centralized exchange to put back into their account. So say they made 80,000. Technically, they should have been paying taxes every time you rebased. That's what they don't like because they're like, we're losing money at this point.
Yeah, well, because they're smart. Well, I mean, in the example of time, obviously we're not talking about time. We're just talking about DeFi in general. But
Yeah.
Right.
there are obviously very easy loopholes in crypto to get around paying your taxes.
Yeah.
And with time specifically, you can wrap your memo, and basically that allows for you to avoid capital gains tax because you're no longer profiting off of a security going up in price. Now it's the price appreciation of an asset where you don't have to pay capital gains tax on that just because the value of what you're holding goes up is basically what is occurring
futures.
at that time. So it's
Right.
very smart. I think of course there's a reason to be scared for the government. How do you regulate it? How do you make sure that people are being honest with, people can make millions and billions off of sheep and then just not
And
report
just
it.
not
So-
pay anything. Just
So I get it. I'm not trying to say, obviously we need regulation. In the sense that there's never going to be a way for the government of any country really at this point to say, we're canceling crypto. No one's allowed to do it. And that'll eventually kill off crypto. We've seen that it just doesn't work. China's tried to do it, or China has done it. And it has only created an environment where now people don't go to centralized exchanges for anything. People will just use decentralized exchanges. And the point is, it's just like the internet when the internet was coming out, right?
Yeah.
People thought, one, it was just a fad, and two, that the government was going to crush it and make it crumble, and it would go away, and we would live life as we knew it back then. I think the same thing is occurring now. I literally found randomly this video where they talk about in the next 4 years, starting in 2022, from 2022 to 2026, we're going to have as much technological advancement in our society as we have in the last century or something,
right.
which is crazy. And it feels like that. And I think we've already talked about this off and on air and on the Patreon. we've talked about the fact that we kind of feel that way too, and we've had that kind of, for whatever reason, feeling, or we've had that kind of moment where we realize like where we're going is a lot different from where we're coming from. They don't look the same. And so it's about how much of what we came from are we trying to hold on to just because where we're going is so much different. I think there's only so much that we can take with us. And no offense, but Elizabeth Warren, how long is she going to be relevant for in this conversation with the amount of information she knows?
Just,
and I don't know. And so I will sit here and listen to people who have no idea what they're talking about, talk about these things and have an opinion on them.
Yeah.
But do I really consider that something that I'm going to take into consideration when I think of the future of any of this stuff? No. So
yeah, I mean,
of course, in an emotional market and with the kind of manipulation, quote unquote, that we have in something like the crypto market, because it's so small, of course, these kinds of things are going to affect people's sentiment towards the market. And
yeah,
if you really dig deep into the technology or the fundamentals of everything, it doesn't need to. And there's a lot of things that emotionally drive these markets that don't need to actually have any effect on the market.
I guess the bigger question that a lot of people have, man, is will time survive regulations? Please give me an answer about this. Shout out to Hendrix, man. Thank you for your comment.
Supporting the show.
Answer this question. So, will time survive regulation? I'm gonna let you go first, Dante. Go ahead, man.
I guess the thing is, like, basically what I just said is that there's nobody who can, like, regulation can't stop time from being time. And you're probably in the US if you're asking this. So again, like I said, there's, crypto is a global thing. It is not just the US, and anything that was to be affected by regulation to the point where we couldn't use it in the US would still live on in every other country. And I promise you, there'd be many people who leave this country to go and pursue those ventures.
You don't technically even have to leave the country, man. Be honest with you. All you need is a VPN.
Yes.
But
we're talking straight. We're talking straight on the basis of like what is
everything
supposed to be done if you're going to follow the rules. Is you're not going to use a VPN. You're going to leave the country.
Well, that's true. That's true.
But one error, you can leave the country with your VPN and be in Tokyo based on your internet connection in 2 minutes, which is the fact of the matter. Which is why I say like the time or whatever, these decentralized protocols will live and die based on the people who support it, run it, the community around it, and its sustainability. It won't live or die based on regulation. Things like stable coins like USDT or private firms that have their own stable coin or centralized entities that have stable coins, those are the ones that will, they could ban Tether in the US, and then you would get in trouble for that kind of thing. That's a different story.
Yeah.
But we already know that there's already a solution, or there are solutions to Tether and centralized stable coins. There's UST, there's MIM, and I don't want to keep saying
Tether's in a bubble too right now.
Tether's getting sued.
Yeah,
they're in a bubble too. They might collapse.
They're getting sued right now.
To me, it's just
they're printing fake
it's something
money
that needs to be sorted out so that we can just move on from it. Because it's like the problem that the U.S. government also has is that USDT and any kind of stable coin that is representing the dollar on the blockchain is more efficient, more fast, more accessible to everybody in the world than the actual US dollar is now. No longer do we have to wait for the bank or whatever to get our money. And that's a big issue for the infrastructure we have now. And my point being, where we're going is not where we're coming from. So what are we going to do? Are we going to stifle and destroy the growth of paradigm shifting technology that we know is going to last? Or are we going to decide that maybe we just need to change the way our traditional systems do things? I think if Elizabeth Warren or whoever it is in government is not in the boat of we need to be able to change our and adapt to what we have in terms of technology and how we can utilize it, then that's good. But if we are in the boat of we have a system that has worked for a certain group of people, so we need to keep it running because that certain group of people are directly affected by it, and they have no reason to change, and they have no reason to want these huge, massive shifts in kind of technology and, again, the way people make money and the way people make a livelihood and transfer value. If for the people who have been winning the last 20, 30 years, the systems work for them. So why would they want it to change? And it also happens to be the fact that those people who have been successful are the ones who are at the top of the food chain in terms of power. It's not a coincidence, right? And so, of course, there's hesitance. There's a lot of back and forth and just ridiculous like misunderstandings because there's just a lack of understanding from people who we need to have very well educated on this stuff. Because they're gonna if they're allowed to make decisions based on what they know now, like crypto in the US is just not going to go anywhere anytime soon.
Banks are going to have a problem too, because imagine moving your money, your funds from crypto into your bank, and it's hundreds of thousands, millions. That money's not really there. Your money is not really there because the banks don't have your money. So if you were going to go and cash out and go to the ATM or go to the bank, they're going to immediately, where does money come from?
Exactly.
They're not going to have it on hand. You're not, even though it's your money, you're not going to be able to come in there and just pull out $100,000 like that, just depositing it from your MetaMask. And it's going to get reported. It's going to get, you know what I mean? That's the system that we have where the banks they're going to have a liquidation. They're going to have to adapt, and everything's going to be digital. Everything needs to be digital. As crypto's taking off, there's no need. You can't have physical cash anymore.
Most centralized exchanges doesn't even allow for you to deposit that amount of money, or else it takes like 3 to 4 or 5 business days for you to do it. The only one centralized exchange that I know of
Coinbase does
is Kraken, and you have to do like levels of KYC in order to do it. Like
Coinbase has good levels. Like
I can
10,000.
move $1.5 million at a time on Kraken because of the level that I KYC'd for. I feel elite saying that, but like you got to do it. You know what I'm saying? If you want to be able to pull your money out, this is what you have to do. But I don't know. That's a good point, John. It's definitely a good point. So in your opinion, John, do you think that time will survive regulation rather?
I think so. I think that it's proven on the DeFi world that it's everyone loves it. Everyone's gravitating towards it, right? So it's mostly for people who are into crypto. And what I'm assuming is traditional finance, basically the real world, they will incorporate their own versions of these protocols.
Yeah.
They're going to create
100%.
their own. It just makes sense to. If they're going to make money, and then their investors are going to make money, the wealthy are going to make. You don't think we love this? You don't think wealthy people are going to love this? You don't think wealthy billionaires are not going to love this? They're going to create their own protocols, but it's going to be only for the elite.
They might not even create their own protocols. They might just get into these protocols after they've convinced every single retail investor that this shit's going to zero, to be honest.
Yeah, and they could do that. Yeah,
dude. I mean,
they could do anything. They have the money to do anything.
You know what literally I mean? Like if
how can you say no to this?
If you're getting paid to basically hold your money on a protocol or a smart contract or a website, whatever, the treasury where all the money is stored at, they take that money and invest it in other different projects. Basically like a you're going to Fidelity and saying, hey,
this is a bank. It's
put my money over here.
It's a self-sustaining
decentralized bank.
It's literally what
of the world or of whoever.
And they know the centralized finance, or the real world finance, they know that this is a major thing, and it's a lot of money that goes into this, and that's a lot of money that they're not getting their hands on.
Ethereum's success will showcase the power of crypto. As once Ethereum successfully implemented, their vision is complete, Ethereum's success will showcase to all the regulators, all the elites, like, okay, crypto works. Because the fact that the money that you invest, you buy the token, you can use that token to help power Ethereum, right? When you do proof of stake. Obviously, they would prefer proof of work because they can set up all those mining rigs and all that stuff they need to do, right? Cardano is going to change the game on that regard. But when it comes to Ethereum moving to proof of stake, that's the next poster boy under Bitcoin, where the elites are going to put their hands on, and then that's where they're going to be able to they might take over.
But haven't you guys noticed lately in the news and even lately on Twitter that a lot more politicians or people in power are starting to kind of see the contradictions that they had with Bitcoin and Ethereum, and like with Ethereum basically doing what XRP did back then, and now people are like physically coming out to say it. So I don't know, maybe I think they might kind of crash the market, their babies, and kind of slap them on the wrist so they could pay some fines and maybe, freak some people out some more so maybe they can buy in later. Because, I mean, let's be honest here, man. All the elites have said Bitcoin is digital gold, digital real estate. they're not just gonna let that go to zero, man. MicroStrategies is a big corporation
they're
that
not.
basically runs
Tesla,
part of the
Elon
world.
Musk.
Like, come on, man.
Jack-
I think we're just at a turning point. Like this is a turning point where, yes, the people who were here like in 2017 or before that, they have this idea or the notion of the cycles having to be a certain way, and I get it because it makes sense. And if everything stayed the same and we were at the same place as we were in 2017, yeah, I would expect it to be a 4-year cycle type thing. But I think it's obvious now, like this whole year basically could end completely sideways. Like we could end just under 40K, around 30K. Bitcoin started this year at like 30K.
Yep.
Ends around the same place. Basically, this year was a year of consolidation. This year was a year of, in some people's perspective, accumulation. I think accumulation.
Yeah, it was
before
accumulation year.
what
It
comes
was
next.
accumulation year, yeah.
To get in.
And like we've been saying, it's not the worst thing in the world if we have a slower,
If we're
more
trading
gradual
sideways for a
rise,
while.
Yeah.
more sustainable rise.
I think so.
Guess what? We're
It's
here.
safe
We're at this
to-
moment in time where all the people who wanted to get into everything when it was cheap, they're not here now, right? They're all afraid.
Which is
They're all
kind of crazy.
scared.
Which
And
is kind of crazy.
to those people who are out there, it's like this is the moment in which everything is done. When everybody is running for their lives, like when everyone's afraid, that is when people are buying. The people who
Inflation's
know-
at an all-time
who
high.
who are able to see past what's right in front of them and see that, okay, yes, like it's always going to go down way more. It's way more than it should, and it's always going to go up a little bit more than it should at that moment in time. It's going to be undervalued and then overvalued, and then find its way to a place in the middle. I think 2021 now, based on what we've seen happen, is we went up a little too much. We got overextended and we had to come down. And everybody wanted us to just go blow past 70K and keep going to 100K and then 150 and whatever. But it's just not the case at this point. And that's okay, because has anything changed fundamentally about where we think crypto is going in the long run? No.
Nope.
Has the sentiment changed? Has the way people interact and talk about crypto changed just because of the prices? Yes. And 2 weeks ago, everyone was euphoric. So,
Yes, I remember that. Yep, everyone was happy.
so it's like
2.8
what brings me,
trillion.
honestly, like I really do mean this. Like the crypto market going down really doesn't affect me. It's the fact that, we are in a place where we are part of communities where I know it's affecting people regardless of how I feel about the market. And that kind of sucks, because it's like, like it's harder to come out and talk about things in a bullish way, even though things have literally not changed in terms of fundamentals,
Yeah.
because people are down on their investments or people are not happy about what the market's doing. And again, we're all culpable. We're all in the same boat in the sense that we're all human, right? Like we're going to be emotional about these things, but maybe this is the time where we realize, okay, now there's a time for me to reflect on why I feel the way I feel. Why do I feel down about the market going down? Why do I not look at this as an opportunity?
Man, great points. So this next question we got, man, from Patrick Sawabi. Sabale. Hopefully I said your last name correct, man. I apologize if I didn't. He said, I have a question for the next podcast. What is you guys' take that you think we won't have an alt season like 2017 as the cryptos were few? I guess he's saying that there was a little bit of altcoins back then.
There was only like weird
Some
meme type
even
tokens.
go to the lengths to say that their sort of euphoria came with an explosion of the NFTs. So I guess the first question, let's answer that one, and then we'll dive into the second. So basically, Dante, do you think that we'll have an alt season like 2017? Or do you think it's going to be completely different?
I think we won't have anything like we've seen before. I think what is happening now is completely different to
Uncharted
any of that.
Yeah.
I think that's the point, is that nobody knows what's going to happen, and everybody expects it to happen, or everybody expects one certain outcome to occur, whatever that is, whatever they've bought into.
Yeah.
We are the same, right? I've bought into the idea that we're not going to have the same situation we had in 2017. I think that's the point of looking for actual fundamental projects that will have a long-term outlook. The point of that is there's so much out there right now that is not going to last. the whole point is like you put in the time so that you can find the ones that will last. I think it's obvious too which ones will last. I think the ones that'll last are underperforming the stuff that isn't going to last. You look at Chainlink, you look at Alliance Block, those have underperformed most in terms of DeFi or in terms of potential in the long term. They have far more potential than 90% of the projects that have done the best this year. And I think that just shows you how many new people are in the space, which is good. Hopefully those people stay and they learn and they educate themselves on why they should be absolutely focused on the future of this, because that's what we want. We want more people coming in here that are coming for the technology and staying. And I think the development and the application building side, that stuff is happening. I think the brightest minds in terms of development and creating products with blockchain that people will actually use, I think it's gotten everybody's attention. You look at Meta, aka Facebook, you look at Jack from Twitter, it's
Nike.
Crypto has already captured the attention
Microsoft.
of the people who will play a part in shaping how
Google.
our future looks, in the sense that these social media giants, as we know, have a lot of power over large groups of people in terms of how they interact with each other, because those platforms determine how people interact based on what they do with their platform. So they have power. They have power to change the way we communicate as people over the internet. That's pretty crazy. That's very powerful.
Yeah.
And so the question is, do we want to just, pretend like we're going to let centralized entities or a certain group of people always allow for that power to be in their hands and let them make the decisions for us about how our data is used and who sees our data and profit off of us and the information that we create, rather than choose to go in the direction of creating value for ourselves with just ourselves, just being ourselves and interacting and engaging, blah, blah, blah. That's the question that every single person can ask themselves, and then ask which side of the line they want to sit on. If you want to sit on the line that is for all the things we just talked about and not crypto, that's okay. But is that where I'm going to sit and like most people who are in this space are going to sit? No, obviously not. So I think to answer the question, does it mean that the tokens like QUANT, VXV, ALBT will not have parabolic runs? They will go up in price with the value of their tokens going up based on the utility. So if the utility is realized and the tokenomics operate in the way they're supposed to for these tokens, then the price of the tokens will go up, which means it doesn't require Bitcoin to have a parabolic run up or blah, blah, blah. Things don't have to work the way they've worked this whole time in the space.
Right.
We are all looking at the space and it is still in its infancy, because Bitcoin is still the determiner, is what is determining all of the biggest moves.
The
in the
determining
market. There's
factor.
One crypto.
Yeah.
And that was just, in my opinion, still just like the proof of concept crypto, proof of concept of blockchain for this kind of thing, transfer value.
So John, what do you think, man? Do you think that tokens like Quant, VXV will not have parabolic runs just because they've had some massive percentage gains this year?
They've had.
So what do you think?
I mean, VXV was like under $1. Quant was obviously $1 last year. So you know what I mean? This whole year, if you had invested earlier in the year or last year, you would have felt that parabolic run.
Yeah.
It's inevitably, that feeling would have been inevitable. You felt that. It's just for the people that have bought in past the parabolic run that don't feel that way now. So that's like I've said it before. It's like it already had a parabolic run. So now you have to, if you're buying it now, you have to bank on it having another parabolic run.
Yeah, and that's what I think he's asking.
Yeah, so it's like
that's what it sounds like.
So it's like you're basically waiting on a second one. And technically, it did what it needed to do. If you invested early, we just invested a little late, right? Like if we had
but the reason it went up is not because of utility. It went up because of
speculation.
Hype.
Hype and speculation. Yeah.
If you're just buying based on hype and speculation and not for the promise of utility, then don't waste your time buying. Exactly, is really the point. Because it's like if you're literally just buying it looking for that parabolic run to come again.
Yeah,
you're gonna be sick.
What's the point?
You're gonna feel hurt.
The point is, obviously, the point is, all right, I want it to go 7-8x and then cash out. But the point is, if that's the only reason you're buying,
Yep.
you're not going to be able to hold, and you might
Yes,
even miss
you're
the
not gonna
parabolic
feel
run
good.
when it happens because you sold too
Yeah.
early because you weren't patient. So it's like, my point is, my only feeling is that because of the way the market is, the only way that you can last at this point is if you have
Belief.
your own conviction that
Yeah.
this is going to work out in the long run. If you don't feel like that, you're constantly going to be trying to find a narrative that fits what you want to happen. So it's like, if you think that it's the best case scenario for you for it to have a blow off top in December, then you're going to try and find everything
You're
that confirms
chasing
that
all
for
the
you.
you're not.
Yeah, and it's okay, but I'm just saying, like, to
Mhm.
me, in my world, it doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
that-
Yeah,
to
same
look at
here.
things like that.
You're basically a short-term investor, and then you're kind of like investing based off of the price action rather than utility. Because at the end of the day, if you are investing into a project like Quant, VXV, Alliance Block, those three in particular, if you understand the utility, you know this is nowhere near the surface of the value of what Quant will be. So at this point in time, it doesn't matter if you're buying it at obviously 200, 300, 400, 150, because you know that at some point in time, utility will kick in and the price will be astronomical if you're looking at a price standpoint, because we're nowhere near where Quant's potential is at. It just basically gave proof to a lot of people, like, oh, look, people believe in this project other than me. That's all, you know what I mean? Other than me, people believe in this project, and that gave it like a hype. Right, so like if you're investing into something like Sheeb and Doge, that's all hype. There's no utility coming. There's nothing. Doge is not going to build a digital dollar for anybody. It may be used as currency, but that's fine. Like it's like using a stable coin. You just, oh, here, I'm gonna give you 30,000 Sheeb. It's like worth, like $500 or something for some shoes.
Yeah.
Like you're just trading. You're crypto trading, right? But when it comes to utility, at these tokens in particular, they're nowhere near their surface. They had a blow off top this year because of the hype that people believed. Oh, I found a gem, and then people thought that Quant was gonna hit $10,000 this year.
I mean, I think it's
You know
funny
what I mean?
that when Quant was at $400,
People were
when
buying
all these
in.
projects were up, everybody was like, damn, I wish I was in it.
Yeah.
The Quant at this
Yeah.
price, at that price, at this
And
price.
then here's your chance
And
again.
now, where's
Where's their
everybody at?
excuse at this
Even
point?
Where's
Alliance
everybody
Block.
at that was saying
Yeah,
that? They're not
VXV.
here anymore because
Yep.
one, they're looking at what could have been, what they missed out on. They're not looking at the opportunity that's in front of them right now. They're looking at what
Exactly.
could have happened. When
Yeah.
Quant's price goes up, they wish they could have bought at the bottom.
Yeah.
When Quant's price crashes, they wish they sold out earlier because they bought at the top.
You know what
It's-
I'm thinking about?
It's literally.
It's silly to me. And I'm
Yep.
saying, like, I do the same thing. It's silly to me that I'm in the same boat as you. I'm not saying that I'm not like that too. I'm
We're
exactly
human.
the
We're
same way. And it's
human.
just like, why?
But you understand what you're investing in. You believe in the utility. You know what the potential of what these projects are going to do for the world, not just the crypto space, but the world. They're going to
Yeah,
help
it's all
change
potential.
the world.
It's all potential at
Yeah.
the end of the day.
This moment currently, right now that we're in, is one of those moments where you will say to yourself at this time next year, damn, if I would have just bought this at
Yeah.
that time, I would be.
You think this is one of those moments?
Hell yeah, dude. I think so.
We've had multiple of those moments this year already. This is the biggest
This
one.
is the biggest one.
Yeah. When Bitcoin hit 50K or something, what was the previous all-time high? When Elon Musk
58
bought
or
it?
something,
58.
or-
58. What happened? It went back down. It was about to touch 29K. That was one of the first times. So now Bitcoin's at 29,000. I mean 69,000, 70,000 damn near. It's about down to like 46, 45.
Yeah.
So it's essentially the same dip. From
It's
50,
basically the same
58
dip.
to 29 to 30, now 69 to 45. It's kind of the same dip. And that means if Bitcoin is going down like that, everything else is going down.
Yeah.
It's just higher than where it was before. But still, at the same time, it's giving you more chances to get in your favorite projects that you believe in long term. But most people don't want to buy when it's down for some reason. People want to buy when it's going up. I don't
I
understand.
mean, for the reason that, like, we have all been, I think we've been, the crypto market is so unpredictable that it's like
Yeah.
ridiculous that anyone assumes that anyone knows where it's going to go.
No one knows.
Like, to me, it's hilarious that someone will be like, oh yeah, like in 3 months we're gonna hit this and then we're gonna hit that. Maybe like, the stock to flow model based on
Yeah.
some data. There's things that we can use as a guide to maybe when to take profits, when to buy. But it's kind of like saying like we know we have some kind of model that will absolutely determine how we go in a certain direction in the future. If we had the capability to do that, why do you think people lose money so much? If we knew where the markets were going, why would people be losing money right now? Why would everybody be capitulating and crying about this?
Nobody would be broke.
Because we don't actually know where it's going to go at the next moment in time. We can only assume based on what we know now. And what we know now is that if you look at everything, even macroeconomically, things suggest that, we need to slow down inflation in the US. We've had almost 7% inflation this year alone. We're spending more money than we have on the whole of World War II, just on infrastructure, which is insane.
Crazy.
And in the long run, those things are all being set in place to benefit us in the long run. They're thinking about not next year. They're thinking about in 2026, will this plan have panned out the way we wanted it to?
Exactly.
That's where they're looking, and they're looking beyond that. But everybody else is looking at what's happening right now and saying, this is terrible for what's going on right now. This is bad, blah, 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 blah. Things have to get a little bit worse before they get better. And so whenever I see the markets down, what's up?
They always get worse before they get better.
The only reason the market goes up is because it went down right before, right?
Yep.
We don't have a parabolic rise up without it going down first.
Well, what happened?
Literally, there's no way. Sorry, the fucking.
That's funny.
I literally clicked my standing desk started moving up.
It wanted you were preaching. They you were spinning some facts. The desk said, "Get up. We need." You know what I mean?
I need to stand up for this one, eh?
No,
I know I'm getting intense, guys. I need to. I'm very much. I have my convictions, and when I get going, I get going. So
people love it. The people love it.
No worries.
The people love it.
There was another comment that I want to share with you guys, and you guys let me know what you guys think.
Look at his logo. It looks cool. The artwork.
So this one's from Manuel van Ibiza. I don't know. Do you guys know who Chino Crypto is?
Chico.
Yeah, I was watching his video earlier.
Okay. Well, Chico Crypto has more or less said goodbye to his busy crypto existence today in combination with making content. So
he left crypto content making?
I guess so.
He's depressed.
He asked if we've seen that. I personally haven't. This is the first time I'm hearing about Chico Crypto. So I apologize for that. No slight to him. I just don't know him. Are we afraid of this? Me personally, I'm not. What about you guys?
No, I'm not afraid at all. But I wish him the best.
Yeah.
And I watched the first couple seconds of his video.
I guess so.
And other than that, I have not watched his content, but I wish him the best. But to me, do what's best for you. Everybody's got to do what's best for them at the end of the day. I've also fallen in that trap of trying to do what's best for everyone constantly will eventually hurt you. And if that's the situation he was in, he needs to take care of himself, right?
100%.
And I wish him the best, but to me, the point is detach from, if you're going to be in this space, again, you're opening yourself up to a lot of criticism because we don't actually know where any of this stuff is going to lead to, but we just have our thoughts and our convictions as to where we think it'll go. And sharing that is scary in a way because you're completely putting yourself out there to be criticized. And I'm telling you, obviously y'all know that it affects you when people kind of slight you for work that you're doing and when you are genuinely putting a lot of your time or energy into things, and people can just shit on you immediately for anything, really.
Exactly.
But you are letting them do that. That's not.
Yeah.
That's something you are. I don't want to say bringing onto yourself, but you are opening yourself up to receive that. So you got to be able to handle that. And I think that's a lesson I've learned this year again with YouTube and crypto. Yeah. And not just content creation, is that immediately the first comment I ever had on a video was one where the guy was just shitting on me. And so that was how that's how my channel started, literally with the first comment being a dislike and the guy shitting on me. And it was my first video. Yeah. You make a choice. You make a choice like, all right, I can quit now because one person didn't like what I had to say. Or I keep going, I don't quit, but I let every negative comment that I get affect me negatively. Instead, you can focus on the positive. And again, I have not been, a saint with this because it's really hard to do. It's not an easy thing to do, but it's really what is best for yourself.
I was
Exactly.
I was thinking because he says, I don't want to scare you. I love the program. Hope you continue for a long time. I love this space. It looked really emotional. It really moved me. I'm just wondering if this is something to think about too. So it's like what I guess like he's saying too is like there's people out there that like I don't want to say fall in love, but they get hooked on to like people who talk about things that they love, right? So it's like you watching your favorite TV show as a kid, and one day that TV show says, "Oh, we're done. Like this last season of all ever."
Yeah.
It's emotional, right? So imagine someone that you are kind of getting a perspective off of, insight off of, that talks to you about crypto, and you're always watching and learning from this person, and like I trust this person, and then one day they say, "Hey, I'm done." It's I would feel like it's devastating. So I understand why like this question was presented. Like, hey, I hope you guys continue forever, you know. And I feel like as a human, you have if you don't love the space anymore, and if you don't respect the space anymore, you're doing a disservice to yourself and to whomever is watching you, because now it's not authentic. Now you're just making content just for monetary purposes.
Yep.
You're not really doing it for real. This like, you know, like if you love this thing, you would do it for free. Right, and we've been doing it for free for
For 6 months.
6, 7, 8 months
Every day.
without a hiccup.
Exactly.
We never made excuse. We never made any type of you know, we made it seem like we did this like it was a job, but it's just called discipline. You know, you do it, you doing something.
I think
that,
it goes
you
without
know,
saying, like, I mean, in my opinion, it's like, yes, everything, like crypto in itself is enough for you to make a living off of that. You don't need crypto YouTube to be your living. And I think a lot of people early on in the crypto YouTube space ruined that for everyone who's coming now, because it's like there's the stereotype of anybody on crypto YouTube is just some guy who's going to shill. Or just some guys
Everyone's
getting
into
paid to chill.
getting
And it's
into
really
crypto, bro.
sad because
Everybody.
it's mostly true, right? It's mostly true that that's the case. So it's like
sponsorship.
the last video I posted before this one was not the most like positive video, in the sense that I was calling out basically anyone who had anything to say, because I was like I said, the comments got to me, especially when the market was down, because it was like, it does not resonate with me when the market's down to then all of a sudden start losing my conviction. My conviction is not coming from the price, it's coming from the technology. So it doesn't align with me when someone starts getting pissed off when the market's down and then saying, why'd you tell us about this? Why'd you tell us about that? Or the fact that, you know, it's someone who probably bought the top when we bought in 6 months ago. And it's just, people don't even think about the fact that there's another human on the other side of that comment that you're talking to that is taking time, effort, and
you could just
putting in genuine
private
amounts of energy to share something because they believe in it. And if you're going to shit on someone for what they believe in,
says a lot about that person.
then what are you doing with your life? Ask yourself, truly look deep enough inside of you and say, what is it that I'm doing with my life? If the most important thing to me, or the thing that drives me, is looking at other people when they're doing things that they believe in and trying to achieve things in their lives, and I'm trying to shit on them for it. Where am I getting in my life doing that? Probably
I honestly think, man, that was the reason, one of the driving factors that we decided to create the collective, you know, because the collective isn't just a place for just crypto. You know what I'm saying? Like, this channel is primarily educational, telling you about crypto, how the crypto space works, things of that nature. But the collective is a lot different. It's showing you more than just crypto. Like, what do you do after crypto? What is the, you know, things that you're going to be doing, you know, with these projects and things of that nature. So I just feel like, you know, I'm not shilling the collective at all. I think that there's a time and a place for kind of everything. And unfortunately, Manuel, I apologize that you're kind of dealing with what you're not going nowhere, man. But you know, that's what the collective is for. So
the point
when we're doing stuff like, oh, I'm buying this rental property or whatever, what have you, they will know, you know what I'm saying? And they'll be like, all right, this is what they're doing. All right, let me see if I can move some funds around and maybe do that too. That type of content will never reach this channel.
I just,
you know,
I mean,
and it's because there's not enough people who are ready for that to take it wholeheartedly as genuine content. And that's what we've all realized being in the crypto space, is that the crypto space is still young, and it's young and it's to the point where people are so easily influenced. And I think that says, I think that's just a picture,
and that's dangerous
like
too.
part of a bigger
Very
picture,
dangerous.
right? Is that like there's a lot of influence that is just using their audiences and audiences that are letting influencers use them. And so in the crypto space, it's very easy to do because we are so new as a community in general that just like anything, just like with the internet, just like with crypto scams, it's so easy to make a quick buck off of someone, and people are willing to do it shamelessly, put their face on the internet to make a quick buck. And so
it's
it's really hard then when you're trying to make genuine content that you think people are going to actually benefit from, to not feel like you're doing the same thing, even though you're not. You're just genuinely putting out something of value and not making people pay because you want to make money off of them, making people pay because people will pay based on how serious they are about wanting to see that or utilize that content. So I know that someone who's willing to pay that much to be in that Patreon is serious about what we have to say and is going to really put some effort into it if they value the money that they put into it. Or if they just want to support us, that's awesome too. Either way, I don't come here and do what I do, and these guys don't, for money. Like, and it never, and like I always say this, it's never been about money for me. It's always been about, I like making content. Crypto is something that I also am very passionate about. Guess what? They go together very well. And now on top of that, we also can talk about the bigger picture of life that crypto is a part of, YouTube is a part of. But all of it is part of a bigger picture. You guys see a very small sample size of what our lives are. And so with that being said, I think that the only thing we can really do is prove that there are actually genuine people out there that are putting out real content and just being themselves and not actually just completely bullshitting people.
I mean,
and you know, being that typical influencer that we've had, you know, like which is how I sort of, I guess, feel about our content in a way. And so
let's be honest here,
look
man.
at it the same.
If some guy came on here and called the KDA play, called the VXV play, called the Albert play early, they would look at him as if he was a guru and he literally just quote unquote got lucky.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
We all had those moments too where we've all done it. We've all made plays on this show multiple times. Dante has on his channel multiple times where you just bring up a project that you find and you fall in love with, and it blows up on it. Like, you know, it's just conviction. It's Dante's own conviction, and he had his feeling and he talked about it. We've had a conviction with other products, right? I don't want to name them all, but you know, and it's just some people, when that happens to them, it goes through their head, and then they start monetizing off of it immediately. They start cores. Now they start, oh, come on, I know the next one. And then that's when it's like they're not really doing it based off their own conviction. They're hunting. They're just
doing it because they know there's an expectation to do so. And like that is where it's murky. There's some people who will stop themselves and some people who don't. And then you go down the road of you've lost yourself and now you lost the reason why.
The content's not pure anymore. It's not pure. Ours, you could sense the purity. We don't talk about new tokens every episode. If we, you know what I mean? Like, you can tell the difference between, oh, this is new one, you know, and continue, like, every now and then, like, I mean, you know, we talk about the same ones that we believed in, and then we'll have new ones that we fall in love with, and we put, you know, and I don't want to speak for Dante, but he's the same way. And then we change our minds.
You know, it's the truth.
Yeah, it's
know it's the truth, and so the only difference between the people who are you guys on the other side of the mic or whatever, on the other side of the camera, the only difference between you and us is that the people who stick around and enjoy the content are also the people who have kind of accepted themselves and accepted the place we're at, you know, and are on the same level in the sense that we operate on the same frequency. You get what we're saying. Not everyone's like that, and we're not asking everyone to be like that, or we don't think that we're on higher ground for the way we are. But I think the most simple way of putting it is, I'll look at it. You can look at it as selfish as possible if you want it. It's not about me doing all this stuff for anybody else. For myself, in order to make whatever I'm doing as successful as possible, I have to keep it as genuine to myself as possible. Otherwise, it will not work. That is how I see it. And so that means that anything I put out is 100% a reflection of how I'm feeling in that moment, not anything other than that. It's not to influence you to do one thing or the other or sway you one way or the other. All of it and most of it is restating my convictions for myself and putting that out there so that I've put it out there. People know about it. Now I'm being truthful to myself because I've put it out there and I'm being consistent with it, right? I'm not changing. I'm changing my. Obviously, we change our minds about what projects we hold, what is in our portfolio, blah blah blah. But
Right.
the how you're going to get to that destination, you don't know, and the road will fork so many times. But the destination does not change. The destination, exactly. The destination will be there, and it is the same destination. Like your goals, you may have the right goals in life, but you might not have the right vessel to get you to those goals. And
You just gotta get the vessel.
the answer is not to get out of the vessel and decide that you're a failure and you're never going to get to where you want to go. It's that maybe the path you're taking is not the one you're supposed to be on. You need to pivot.
Yeah.
But the goal stays the same. You're still arriving at the same destination, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna get there, and this you'll sense the conviction of the purity of content creators and stuff, because this stuff will die out.
Even if we bring more people to feel okay to be able to be themselves and talk about their failures, and that's what the collective should be.
Yeah.
The collective should be a place that's not, it doesn't have to be private. It should be something that everyone can be a part of and understand that, okay, when we come here, no matter what they say, we understand they're not trying to influence, they're just trying to share opinion.
Exactly.
And
from sharing opinion, we're going to hear other opinions. And then based on those opinions, we converse. And then the collective as a whole can become more educated, can learn from each other and hear about each other. And like, that is what is so cool to me. And that is what drives me, is like, there's people on the other side of the screen that actually genuinely, feel the same way. We've never met. We have nothing in common on an external basis, but this person has had the exact same conviction, has had the exact same feeling about something.
This is like kind of random. Dante preaching. You're gonna like this. Joe Rogan had today his episode with Beeple.
Joe Rogan is like
he has Beeple, and Beeple gave him an NFT. This beginning, to me, that's big news. He gave him an NFT in a physical, like, it's like the device that showcases your NFT. So you know they're gonna have NFT talk. Beeple has made $69 million off of NFTs.
Yeah.
So that's big to me. That's huge. Joe Rogan. That's a whole audience of people. Now Beeple's gonna explain to them what NFTs are. Crypto, the blockchain. Like, to me, that's huge. To me, that's huge. I'm gonna watch that today.
It's gonna be pretty dope.
It came out today. That's big news.
I'm obviously I'm a massive fan of Joe Rogan.
Yeah,
and look at Joe Rogan for an example.
It's insane.
We talk about it all the time.
Spreading.
In my opinion, what is the best job you could have ever is be able to just be yourself, be Joe, be John, be Dante, be Mike, whoever. Literally, your value comes from who you are as a person.
Yeah.
And so if you are able to do that and basically, have a net worth of 0, but because your name is Joe Rogan and you are the person you are, and there's nobody who's had the same exact timeline of experience and understanding in their lives.
Yeah.
And you're willing to be open about that because of that, just because of that, that is where your value comes from as a individual in society. That's pretty amazing. And the point is, everybody can do that. It's not just Joe Rogan that can do that.
Exactly.
The fear that comes from being yourself or being afraid to being afraid of being judged, we all have it. I have it. We all have it. But it's something that you absolutely can overcome. And so to me, it's like, if anything, let all of the mistakes that will be made, that we put out publicly, be an example of how it really doesn't matter how many times you're wrong about something or you make a mistake about something, as long as you're still yourself at the end of the day and still being genuine.
Yeah, I guess the takeaway from this episode, or the moral of this episode, is stand on your own 2 feet, have conviction, and have an understanding of what you want to put your money into. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, we don't know. This crypto space is a rocket ship right now. Some days we're up, some days we're down, some days we're sideways. Nobody truly knows the market, but if you have conviction in your thought process and say, hey, look, this is where I'm going to stand, this is where I'm going to put my money, I understand where I'm going, you'll feel a lot more safer, more comfortable, you know, when the market does what it does today.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, this is episode 150 as well. That's a monumental number.
Yeah, that's
pretty
amazing.
crazy.
150.
Pretty crazy.
Amazing.
Appreciate
honestly-
Dante, DeFi.
Honestly, appreciate you, Dante, for always coming on.
Yeah.
Man. You
Not
know,
tired of us yet?
the goal of the show, you know, to continue is
Not yet,
to bring on a lot more
Get
people
close.
that have a
Just
good
kidding.
understanding, you know.
Yeah.
And
So,
Dante's
yeah.
has
Yeah.
had a great understanding. And the crazy part about all of this, though, I'm going to be honest with you guys, is we've never met Dante at all in life, in the real world. And this is not even
and
like
these are like my
metaverse,
friends.
right?
Like,
And we're like almost
these
best
are like
friends at
real
this
friends
point.
of mine.
Yeah.
We can
And
literally
so,
call
yeah.
Dante and be like, "What's up, bro? How you doing? What'd you eat for breakfast?" Type. You know what I mean? Like, "Oh, I had some Cheerios." You know what I mean?
Nah,
It's crazy.
Quesadillas.
It's
You got
kind of
me,
crazy.
got me making quesadillas.
Yeah. I guess also the point
It's
is, guys,
delicious.
I know I get on here and I start preaching, it feels like. But it's also just as much for us as it is for you guys, because it's a way of, you know, reminding us ourselves about what we're trying to achieve in this space. And it is not easy. It's not easy to get on here and, you know, you feel like shit because the market's down and your portfolio is down, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But trust me, guys, don't put us on a pedestal for anything.
We're just like you.
We're
no different.
literally
Yeah.
just normal
If you
people.
meet us, that's how we're talking
yeah.
on air. Is how we'll talk to you in person. The same.
Exactly.
Thing.
There's no
skinny,
difference.
There's no,
And
Yeah.
that's the most
Yeah.
that's the most value in my opinion. Like I said, Joe Rogan is someone I look up to in the sense that that's why I find value in what he does is he's not afraid to be himself, and it works. So I think that's something you can come to us for, but that doesn't mean we're right all the time,
Exactly.
and it doesn't
Yep.
mean that our
We're
ideas
human.
are on point
Yeah.
or any of that stuff. It just means that we're at least able to share it. And I want
Exactly.
everyone who comes to our channel to be able to share the same thing, be able to share their opinion without feeling like they have to follow some sort of narrative or fit some box.
Exactly. So thank you guys all once again for all your comments and questions. Johnny, you had something you want to say?
No, I was just trying to do like the 50.
Oh.
It's this way. 50.
But honestly, yeah, once again, thank you guys for believing in us and getting us to where we are today. We will continue to
Someone's
bring
gonna
you as
think
much
that that's something bad, just like they thought this was bad. The eye thing. Someone's gonna think there's like Illuminati or something.
Oh God.
And I kept replying to the comments. I was like, "We just like the artwork." That's what I say. Like, what's
I just
up?
like I really do
Yeah.
love I'm really just in love with the kind of art. So has nothing to do with Illuminati. But you know,
Everybody's gonna think what they're gonna think. But
Nobody
hopefully you
knows,
guys found
right?
some value today. If you did, please subscribe to the channel, man. Like the video, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care. God bless. Be safe. Peace.
I broke my mic.